until 4:15 this morning. I do want to briefly touch on and remind you, we do have our flash flood warning for the New Orleans area. This goes until 5 a.m., but the heaviest of the rain is winding down in New Orleans on the east bank. The west bank still got this rain to deal with, so that flash flood potential is still going to be there. And we still have our underpasses that are going to take some time to drain off here in New Orleans, and we're just going to have to continue to watch that. But the heaviest of the rain coming to an end in New Orleans, but now our attention is going to mainly be on this tornado threat. Now, if you're on the North Shore watching us, we've got some intense storms moving over Slidell. None of this is severe, but it is producing some very heavy rainfall, lots of lightning, and maybe some gusty winds up to 40 to 50, but none of that is severe. I just wanted to make sure you were aware of what's going on the North Shore, because I know a lot of you in Slidell are waking up wondering what's going on too. But the main show right now is going to be this tornado warning. This includes mainly St. Bernard at this point, and portions as you get into the Belle Chase area, but it's really past all that. This is going to be mainly right in here into St. Bernard, right along our highway here. That is where our tornado threat is going to be highest, right there, and that tornado warning is going to go until 4:15 a.m. This is just radar indicated. I haven't seen any confirmed reports of anything or damage, but that is the kind of the area we're watching right in here, and still not overly pronounced, but there's definitely some mid-level to weak rotation right here. And at this point, you know, if you're in the English turn, I'm going to give you the all clear. It looks like it's past the English turn. There's Terrytown, there's Belle Chase, of course, and as you get past the river, that's where the threat's going to be. So if you're east of the river, or excuse me, if you're west of the river in Orleans or Jefferson, giving you the all clear from the tornado. If you're in St. Bernard, you still need to be in your tornado safe spot. This is going to be from Violet to Poydras. That's our area of rotation right past the river, and that's crossing basically east. It doesn't have a whole lot of southeast movement. So down here, you're in the tornado warning down here in St. Bernard, but really that tornado threat is going to be up in here, and these are going to be straight line winds. So you've got your tornado threat here, but you've got some strong winds pushing out on the back side of this, and that's going to be for some damaging wind gusts right there along that leading edge. That's going to be moving through St. Bernard and Plaquemines. So if you're in Plaquemines Parish, this tornado warning, it does include, there's really not much out here, of course, but once you get into the parish line right here, notice the river over here, so it does not include most of our river communities in Plaquemines. This is going to be mainly up in St. Bernard for the tornado threat. So if you are watching us in Shell Beach, if you're watching us in Wyclowski, Hopedale, Reggio, up along 46, that is where the tornado threat is going to be highest, and it's going to be highest right now as you get into kind of Poydras, Violet, and in here along Highway 39, where it turns off. So where you get on the road and it turns off, and you can go on down to Shell Beach. That's where the tornado threat's going to be highest right now. And eventually this is going to be crossing probably out towards the Shell Beach area. So I think anywhere from Reggio to Shell Beach and north, up in here, this kind of corridor, that's where our tornado threat's going to be highest over the next 10 minutes or so. And as I mentioned, this tornado threat goes until 4:15. So we still have 25 minutes left of this warning. We'll have to see if they hold this warning for that entire time. But just something we're going to have to kind of walk and babysit through. I did mention, you know, even outside this tornado warning, there are some pretty strong winds. Anywhere you see these kind of bright reds where they turn into yellows, those are going to be 40 to maybe 50 mile per hour winds that are moving on with this. There's some strong winds up along 90 as you get into the Venetian Isles, of course outside the levee protection system in Orleans Parish. Scared me. All right, so just an update on that tornado warning. They're going to continue the tornado warning until 4:15, so at 3:51, they said a severe thunderstorm was capable of producing a tornado, was located over Poydras. We were just talking about that, and this is about 7 miles southeast of Chalmette. So if you are in Chalmette, we're going to give you the all clear in Chalmette for this tornado warning. The original warning did include Chalmette, but it is past you at this point. You are now outside the warning, and you are good. So Chalmette, this does not include you. It is mainly going to be down here along the bend of the river, English Turn here. It's now west of the English Turn into St. Bernard. So really this is just going to include St. Bernard at this point. All of our other parishes looking okay. Now it does include the tip of Plaquemines right there. That's about as much of Plaquemines as it includes. So if your cell phone's going making that loud, obnoxious noise this morning in Belchase and Chalmette, we're going to give you the all clear. But if you are in Poydras and if you continue to be anywhere along 46, down from Poydras to Violet, and if you head down into lower and eastern St. Bernard, you are still going to be included in this tornado warning, as we do have a weak area of rotation. Now it's still not terribly strong, but it's definitely there enough to warrant this this warning. And this is our radar out of Slidell, and this is not going to be as high definition as our radar out of the airport, which this is the radar out of the airport. So you can see there, it tells a better story and gives us a better picture of what's going on out here. Yeah, if there's any rotation, it's not strong, but you know, tornado warning is a tornado warning. These things can drop quick little spin ups at any time, and whether it's an EF0 or stronger, a tornado is a tornado. So take this seriously. If you're anywhere from Violet to Poydras, St. Bernard, and then heading down through along, I believe that's 46, there's 39. Right in there is where the tornado threat is going to be at its highest. So this is just past the river. There's the bank of the river. There's the levee, English Turn up here. So it's past you in the English Turn. So it's past the golf course at this point. Now, still included in this warning is going to be most of eastern St. Bernard, Shell Beach, Wyclowski, Hopedale all included in this. Or why they're not popping up. There they go. Reggio and down along Wood Lake, Florissant Highway, of course. And I mentioned earlier, you know, there's a lot of elevated houses in here. Get to the lowest level if possible, or the most sturdy structure you can find in your area. Now, you don't want to be way elevated, of course, as strong winds blow on in. And it's always better safe than sorry, but the best place to be, interior closet, no windows, bathroom, bathtub, those types of things. And if you have helmets, always grab your helmets, put your helmets on. That's a good idea to protect your head. That's usually where we see most injuries in high wind events, tornado events. It's from blunt force trauma to the head. And so if you're wearing a helmet, that can really protect your head and save your life. So just continuing with this tornado warning, it's going to go until 4:15 if you're just waking up. And we have to repeat ourselves because a lot of people are being woken by this and, you know, getting out of bed wondering what's going on. This tornado warning is mainly just now for St. Bernard, east of Chalmette. So this does not include Chalmette, but once you get into Poydras, Violet, and the rest of eastern St. Bernard, you are under this tornado warning until 4:15 a.m. This is radar indicated. It is not confirmed, but you know, these things can sometimes drop tornadoes in between radar scans. You know, you can't see everything every second, unfortunately, with the types of radars we have. And we can sometimes, you know, check on these things with our debris detector, and we haven't seen any. I haven't seen anything that jumps out tremendously. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, just a lot of noise. It's pretty noisy, meaning it's hard to say exactly what's happening exactly with that. Now, the area of rotation, it's weakened quite a bit. Now I think we've got more of just a gusty wind sticking out with this. Right in here, we've got some strong winds that are going to pass south and continue into St. Bernard. And that'll continue to spread up through eastern St. Bernard. So even if there's not going to be a tornado in here, there's still going to be some strong straight line winds that are going to be moving towards Reggio, Delacroix, Shell Beach, Hopedale, Wyclowski, Louisville City. That'll continue to head down towards eastern St. Bernard, even regardless of the tornado. You know, a lot of people oftentimes forget that straight line winds can be just as dangerous as tornadic winds. We have seen in just the past month, the trees can fall on houses that can kill people. And so straight line winds, you know, certainly need to be taken seriously as well. Let me go back and touch on our flash flood warning here in New Orleans. We're still seeing some very heavy rainfall on the west bank. The east bank, things have really improved. We've just got a little bit of light showers here in New Orleans. Let me show you our tower cam of what we got going on. Here from the west bank, notice you can actually see. So things have really improved. Still seeing quite a bit of lightning. This is looking back towards that tornado warning. If you were watching, this is from the West Bank and looking. I believe this is looking towards the tornado warning across portions of the West Bank. And then here's what it looks like from the French Quarter. Things really improved here in New Orleans at this point. So the heavy rainfall, we're getting a break, and I believe our pumps are doing what they need to do to pump down some of that water, and our underpass situation has really improved. Now, the 4 underpasses I still see closed are going to be Canal Underpass. That's going to be up in the Navarre area. The Carrollton Underpass by Costco, that underpass still says it's closed. The Broad Underpass says it's closed over in the Fairgrounds area, and the Gentilly Underpass at 610 also says it's closed. That's also going to be in the Fairgrounds and as you get into Gentilly. So that's what we're looking at with our flooding situation in New Orleans. That flash flood warning will go for another hour, and we'll see if they let it expire. But we continue to track our tornado warning, and you know, this thing is just not looking as pronounced as it was. The tornado threat does not look nearly as high as it was. As you can see, there is still it's very broad rotation. It's hard to even call this rotation. Just because you see greens and reds together doesn't mean it's necessarily rotation. We talk about that all the time. We want to see greens and reds together. Well, they have to be in a certain orientation for it to be rotation. A lot of times it can be convergence. So these green winds, or these red winds, are really just going away from the radar, and these are winds pushing out. So we call these straight line winds, and that's where we got some straight line winds moving into St. Bernard. But if we did have any rotation, it would be right in here. And it's definitely not as strong as it was earlier. But nonetheless, they are going to continue this tornado warning, it looks like. They could perhaps let it expire. We'll wait and see. But, oh, there you go. Yeah, they expired it. So the tornado warning has now expired for this what we were watching in St. Bernard. So that tornado threat has come down. Still going to produce some gusty winds, though. I do want you to be aware of that. But you can see there that tornado warning now canceled. Now we'll just continue to watch this very heavy rainfall in the New Orleans area. Excuse me, and mainly on the West Bank. So this is where the flooding threat is going to be highest now. Is going to be really all the West Bank down into Upper Plaquemines, from Chalmette down into St. Bernard is where this heavy rain, I think this is where our flooding threat is going to evolve over the next hour or so as things start to improve in New Orleans. Now, if you're watching us once again on the North Shore, I don't want to forget about you because I know you're wondering what's going on. Nothing is severe up here in Slidell. That's Slidell. There's Pearlington. Of course, getting into Mississippi, there's Stennis. There's Picayune. The heaviest of the rain now moving past Slidell. It's going to continue to move past and going into Hancock County. So Hancock County, your rain's picking up. If you're in Pearlington, if you're in Waveland, the Kill, Diamond Head, you've got some heavy showers and storms moving in. But none of that is severe right now. It's just some loud storms with lightning and thunder. Now behind this, we've got more storms we're going to have to watch. We've got another storm that is developing into St. James Parish. So if you're in Convent, going up to Letcher, right there along the river, we've got a pretty good storm with with some lightning developing, some very heavy rainfall that's going to continue to track towards the east. That's going to be moving through St. James. That'll get into St. John Parish over the next probably 30 minutes to an hour, and then watching more storms behind that. And as I mentioned, I don't think we're done with this once this morning. This is not going to be this morning and then we're done. It's going to be perhaps through the rest of the morning and even into the early afternoon. We've got another area of storms that's developing. Let me turn our other radars on here. Up in Alexandria. And this is going to be an intense line of storms right now up in Alexandria. These are going to slide towards the southeast. That far away, it's hard to say what it's going to look like once it gets here, but it is something we're going to have to watch as we go through the rest of the morning. So we do have our flash flood watch for most of the New Orleans, for most of southeast Louisiana, that's going to go until noon, but we could see that extended. We're just going to have to watch it. But for now, that's your flash flood watch. It includes all the North Shore, Mississippi, pretty much all the areas south of the lake except for our coastal areas. Of course, flash flooding down here becomes less and less of a concern. So that's what we're looking at with our flash flood potential and flash flood watch for the New Orleans metro. But right now, the main thing we're just watching is going to be that flash flood warning as that tornado warning has just expired. So if you're just joining in, a little recap here. We've got the strongest storms now moving out of the metro, or out of the East Bank, still pretty strong on the West Bank, and moving into St. Bernard. That is going to be some very heavy rainfall. That is going to be a ton of lightning moving through the area, and that's going to be some flash flooding potential. There's our flash flood warning. You can see the flashing polygon there for the New Orleans area. Although the heaviest of the rain is now winding down in New Orleans itself. So things are really starting to improve across the New Orleans East Bank. West Bank, you're still going to have to watch for some street flooding. And as we go through at least 5 a.m., that's how long that flash flood warning goes for. And as I mentioned, though, I don't think we're done. We're going to have to watch these storms behind this and going towards the east. Towards the west of that. Now, if you're wondering, we did see the reason for the flash flood warning. We had a bullseye of that heavy rain. I mean, it basically fell right in the wrong spot. Right over New Orleans, right over Metairie, right over Uptown, the Quarter, Mid-City, Gentilly, you name it. And anytime you start getting these greens, these kind of darker shades of green, you're talking about some rainfall totals that are going to be over 3 inches, and a lot of this did fall within an hour. So you're talking, we did have a report of 1.5 inches in 30 minutes. Now that is, of course, what led to our underpasses, like they usually do, leading to some flooding. So at this point, all the severe thunderstorm warnings, all the tornado warnings have expired. Still some intense storms, though, moving through St. Bernard, Upper Plaquemines, going down into Jefferson, still intense on the West Bank, but we have really improved here on the East Bank, except we got more storms coming behind this. So we're going to have to continue to watch these showers and thunderstorms move across the area through the rest of the morning. And as I mentioned, with the flooding threat, that's our primary concern with all this is going to be flash flooding, but we're also going to have to watch for maybe a severe thunderstorm or two. So the severe weather threat is on a level 1 of 5. It's at a level 1 today. That will be for this morning and perhaps into this early afternoon. Gusty winds are going to be our primary concern, but a few tornadoes are possible. We've, of course, had some tornado warnings, and we've had a few of these trying to rotate. So that's what we're looking at with our severe weather threat for the rest of the morning and through the afternoon. So it is 4:05. Our warnings, severe warnings have expired. Our flash flood warning continues for the New Orleans metro at least until 5 a.m. We're going to have to watch for more storms later this morning and through the afternoon, but that's the worst of it. West Bank and going into St. Bernard and Plaquemines. We're going to keep an eye on this, and I tell you what, I got to get ready for the morning show. We've been on for over an hour and a half now. We'll be coming on at 4:30 with our Eyewitness Morning News. And of course, if there's any new updates, significant updates, tornado warnings, things like that, we will be back on here on Channel 4 before 4:30 with those updates. Let me briefly touch on this before I let you go. We got a new severe thunderstorm warning. This is going to be for Hancock County, south of I-10. So if you're watching us in Hancock County, here's what we're looking at. So there's our severe thunderstorm warning. It's going to be south of I-10. It does include Bay St. Louis. It includes Waveland. It includes Pearlington. It does not include Stennis. It does not include the Kill. It does not include Diamond Head. This is going to go until 4:30 a.m. A severe thunderstorm was located near Pearlington, so the heaviest of it right in here. And they warned this because it could produce 60-mile-per-hour winds. So this was warned for some gusty winds, perhaps, especially south of 90. I will say the highest wind threat is going to be right in here. There's Highway 90, and then where it turns to 607, the cutoff there, really south of that, and going into Waveland. So Silver Slipper Casino down in here, Waveland, Bay St. Louis, there's the Highway 90 bridge, there's Pass Christian. So that's where our severe thunderstorm warning is at this point. That's going to go until 4:30 a.m. for south of I-10 in Hancock County. Going to be perhaps some strong winds over perhaps up to 60 miles per hour. Not seeing, widespread wind problems with that, it doesn't look like, but I think it'll be more isolated. Hail threat with that is going to be fairly low, but there could be some maybe nickel-sized hail once you start to get into extreme lower portions of Hancock County. I mean, you're talking down towards Ansley. Silver Slipper's right here, I believe. So we could see some hail trying to creep up towards maybe the Silver Slipper, and that's where the road ends, but down towards Jackson Landing. There's some pea-sized hail, and our radar's trying to tell us that there's maybe some nickel-sized hail too. So hail shouldn't be a big concern there, but I wouldn't be surprised if maybe you hear a little bit of that. And if you do, let us know. We do relay that information to the National Weather Service, and it's very helpful for us. So that's what we got here in the metro, West Bank, but now moving into St. Bernard. Very heavy rainfall continues, and our flash flood warning continues until 5 a.m. So it is 4:07. We're going to get ready for the Eyewitness Morning News. We'll be back here very shortly with more updates, of course. We'll have updates on power outages and things like that. But for now, I'm going to send you back to regular programming unless a new tornado warning is issued. We'll see you at 4:30.
In Saturday's Preakness, the second leg of the Triple Crown. So coming up, COVID loan scam. A man is accused of buying luxury cars with millions of dollars in PPP money. And live from New York, how Elon Musk caused cryptocurrency fallout from his appearance on Saturday Night Live.
We're actually live right now. Something truly shocking.
Lately, it's been hard to think about the future, but thinking about the future is human nature. At Edward Jones, our 19,000 financial advisors create personalized